revolutionaries. What a joy. It makes me happier than a flea at a dog show to be standing up here looking out at all of you corporate greed whackers and right-wing butt kickers. I am just the warm-up act for my friend Nina Turner, the national president of our revolution. And she doesn't need any audience warm-up because she's going to set your chair on fire. She's going to set your heart on fire. She's going to set your spirit on fire. And that's what our revolution is about lifting people up, getting the spirit. Instead of down in the doldrums because we got Trump and gang, let's lift up people because we got grassroots people all across this country who agree with what we're trying to do. We've got a big job to do, and we've got great leaders. You know, you're the leaders, but Gary West and Ann Rosenwinkel and Amanda Chang over here and Scott Fields, you've done tremendous work to bring this together. But now you've got to lead because they can't just do it by themselves. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, any meeting you're in, any line at the supermarket you're standing in, it's our job to reach out to people and bring them in to this tremendous grassroots movement. Patti Smith, the great rocker, had that song, People Have the Power to dream, to rule, to wrestle the world from fools. That's our job right there. And we have beaucoup fools in charge these days. We've got the national government that seems to be run by Goofy and Daffy, Sleepy, Sleazy, Larry, Curly, and Moe. Right there. We've got a narcissistic president who doesn't just stroke his own ego, he actually masturbates it in public.
Yes, he does.
And we've got a state government here in Texas that is run as a private club for the billionaires, bankers, and bosses, the big shots, bastards, and bullshitters who think they're the top dogs and we're just a bunch of fire hydrants out here in the countryside. Well, that's what we're taking on. You know, the old saying, if you find that you've dug yourself into a hole, the very first thing to do is quit digging. But they've dug us into a deep hole of inequality, and they're continuing to dig. Inequality of wealth and income, inequality of health care, inequality of educational opportunity, of justice, inequality of voting, inequality of government response to people's needs, as you just suffered here. I was talking to people about over in Fort Bend County in a gated community. The FEMA was there every day for several hours. In Wharton, they were there for 4 hours one time. That was it. So it's as though we don't count. So that's what we're fighting. The powers that be, you know, the plutocrats, the autocrats, the kleptocrats in our society, knocking down the middle class, holding down the poor, and tearing down our democratic possibilities in this country. Well, ya basta. Enough. That's what we're saying. I come to you not just from Austin, but from South Austin. And over on the south side, we're a little more irreverent than the whole city of Austin is. A little more weird, probably. But in fact, the unofficial slogan on the south side is we're all here because we're not all there. And I think that's what brings us together, because we know the powers that be are not at all there in terms of understanding the essential glue of this country, which is we're all in this together.
That's right.
And they have decided to separate themselves and their fortunes from the needs of all the rest of us. Economists actually have a technical term for what the powers that be are doing to us. It's called stealing. Stealing from us. So my message to you, I'm sure you're wondering what it is by now, is this. It's up to us. It's not up to some politician. It's not up to the Democratic Party. It's up to us, grassroots people. It's no longer enough for us to be progressive. We've been passively progressive for decades. But the powers that be have now turned radically regressive, so we've got to become aggressive again. Aggressive progressives. I first met Bernie when I was Ag Commissioner. He was Mayor of Burlington. And we encountered each other. And I later even went up and did a little campaigning when he ran for Congress. did a little bit, tried to do some fundraising, some events, and etc. And after one big event in Montpelier, their state capital, after we had a big rally, a guy came up wearing a big old button, the best political button I've ever seen, big one. And said, "Wearing a button is not enough." And we can't be a nation of button wearers. We got to be bigger than that. So I've got a program I call RIP, R-I-P, R, resist, of course, resist Trump, but also resist the namby-pamby Democrats who are in there. Resist their inadequacy, their failure to stand up for us. Some of our Democrats are weaker than Canadian hot sauce when it comes to standing up. People are supposed to be standing up for, but that's the R. But I insist on a Bernie-style progressive program of Medicare for all, of $15 an hour, of educational opportunity for all people in our society, not just for college, but technical equipment as well. There you go, technical problem right there. So RIP, resist, insist, and persist. And that's what our Revolution Texas is doing. We're going after the thieves, but we're not going after them in terms of, we're not going to protest. We're not just going to lobby. We're not going to beg them for anything. We're going to become the government. That is our idea. And so, grassroots groups, like right here in this room, you are the power to make this happen. All right, we had a little technical thing there, but it's all fixed now. He was telling me what kind of beer I wanted. Anyway, this is a grassroots, little d democratic organization, a political organization. We've divided this state into 11 regions, and each of the regions is electing 12-member steering committees for their region. Then that committee will elect one person each to be the state steering committee. That's how it's going to work. So endorsement is not going to come from the national Our Revolution of a state legislative candidate or a county commissioner or any other candidate. It's going to start at the local level. For it to even get to national, you have to endorse at the local level, it comes to state, and then it goes to national. So it is a grassroots operation where you have the power and you have the responsibility for getting good candidates and putting them forward. Again, we're going to be aggressively progressive. We're going to be Bernie progressive, in fact. And we're going to have a politics that is with a passion hotter than high school love, as we say up in East Texas. And we're not going to have to. We're not going to just take whatever candidates come along. We're going to create our own candidates here from our own people and put them forward. We're going to recruit candidates. We're going to train candidates and campaign organizers. Then we're going to organize and mobilize at grassroots level. Then we're going to win, and then we're going to govern for the people instead of the billionaires and bankers and bosses and bastards. And we're already showing we can do this. We have Mike Floyd right over here, elected in Pearland, Texas, to the school board at 18 years of age. And that didn't happen just because Mike is so good looking. It happened because folks over there and our revolution all across this state came out behind him and put the people power behind his campaign. We're going over to San Antonio just in a little hour or so. We're going to go over there. We've got a big rally over there, Healthcare for All rally. The National Nurses United is leading the charge over there. And we've got John Courage, who just got elected to the city council in the most conservative district in San Antonio, elected as a straight-out Bernie-crat by running on those issues. We're going to be up in Dallas tomorrow morning. Dallas, where Lashadian Shemwell has been elected to the city council in McKinney, Texas. He is a Black Lives Matter activist in McKinney. So all we need is you. And won't you signing up if you haven't already? You've got to sign up for Our Revolution. Our Revolution Texas, Our Revolution Gulf Coast. Here's the Gulf Coast region flyer. It's just terrific because it's absolutely right on target. It says, for example, block walk and phone bank every Saturday, not 6 weeks before the election, every Saturday, beginning now. We reach out to people on the issues that we care about and that they care about. And then we've got this little card right here. Sign up on this card. We need you to be a member of Our Revolution Texas. Membership is what counts in a political movement. We have to have numbers. That's why politicians would pay attention to us, because we've got real voters, real people who have passion and will be out there and do the kind of walking and talking that produces candidates and elects people to it. It costs nothing to be a member of Our Revolution Texas. Just show up and you are a member. On the back, however, is a little card that says, besides joining Revolution, I also want to donate to Our Revolution, so we welcome anything you can do. If you got 25 cents, if you got $25, we'll take it all. And then we want you, better yet, to be a sustaining member. We have to finance our own revolution, otherwise it's their revolution, right? I mean, if we have some corporation or a handful of rich people finance it, then it's not our revolution, it becomes theirs. So we have to do it with little dabs of money, just as Bernie did. You know, his average contribution, he raised $120 million, average contribution was $27. You know, you can't buy a presidential candidate for $27, but you might buy a candidate who would not be bought by the money powers for a little $27 donation. So that's what we're looking for. So we call $27 a Bernie. Give a Bernie. 27 bucks. We're happy to have it. And just, so finally I'll just say to you, we can do this. We can make this happen. Our revolution has 4 states now that are organized. Texas was the first certified state to be an Our Revolution affiliate. Wisconsin, Maryland, and Massachusetts have joined as well. We have 470 local organizations. We're in every state in the country. We're going to be a powerhouse because of the members, because of grassroots people themselves. We won't have superstars, but we'll have grassroots folks, and that is the superstar that matters. So I'll leave you with this, and I'm going to bring Mike up to introduce a lady whom I've gotten to know in the last couple of years, a dynamic fighter. You know, Bernie was such a genuine candidate that he then pulls out genuine people. That's each of you. There's also people like Nina Turner. You're going to hear how genuine she is in just a moment. But I'll leave you with this thought, and that is, it's from a moving company, a little, not one of these big national chains, but just a little local place up in Austin when I first moved there in 1977. This little moving company, two guys with a truck, you know, named Skeeter and Booger, I think. Skeeter and Booger's truck company. But they had a big attitude. And they had an ad, it was in the Yellow Pages back then, said, if we can get it loose, we can move it. That's what we're talking about doing. Get it loose at the grassroots level, and the people will move it for themselves.